Are we live? Hold up. Wait a second. Is it Thursday night already? Oh yeah. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We're going to talk about that episode. We're going to talk about all this stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight on this Thursday live stream. And maybe, just maybe, speculate about the finale of Ahsoka, which is next week. So, what's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. We got a lot to talk about tonight, and I mean a lot to talk about tonight. That episode, which I thought was fantastic, seems a little bit divided. in the fandom right now. A lot of people not that excited about the penultimate episode of the Ahsoka show because the next week is the finale. That's it. Episode 8, the finale. That is it. So how's everybody doing tonight? Smash a freaking like on this video as you come in, and let's get excited. We're going to break down this episode. We're going to talk about what happened in the episode. We're going to talk about how, of course, Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka, how they're going to get home. There's no way home right now. No way home. We're going to talk about Thrawn and what he's up to, what's in the box, who's still calling out to Balin. We're going to talk about all of it. So, as you come on in, rank this episode out of 10. Rank episode 7 of the Ahsoka show out of 10. My microphone was being squeaky earlier, but now it seems to be good. Nice. All right, so rank this episode out of 10 as you come on in here. Let me open up the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. And just so we know what's going on here, Balin is trending on Twitter right now. Balin. Balin. Austin says 10 out of 10. Your pal Joe says an 8.9 out of 10. But let's start up a poll. Why not? Let's do it. Why not? What did you think of episode 7? 7. Did you love it? What the hell? Did you love it? Did you like it? Not Luke it, like it. Oh my God, like it. Can't type today, guys. Did you... that's the third option. And then, did you hate it? I hope nobody hated it, but we'll see. What do we think? What did we think? Your pal Joe says, my rating dropped after watching it a second time. Really, Joe? Actually, mine did too. I gave it a 10 out of 10 right away, but I dropped it to a 9.8 for two reasons. One, not finding out what's in the box, and two, not finding out who's calling out to Balin. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Right now, 75% of you guys loved the episode. So we'll see as more people come and filter on in here. All right, let's dive right into what happened in this episode. It was a jam-packed, action-packed 45 minutes. A lot of people were saying, oh, it was too short. Guys, it was 45 minutes. It was one of the longer episodes of the entire series thus far. Too short is just a crazy argument there. My thing about the too short is it was just action-packed. We didn't really get enough of what we wanted to because it was just straight action the entire time. Where the last episode 6, was a lot of more explanation than action. You know, we got introduced to Balin, introduced to Thrawn, introduced to Ezra in live action, and all that kind of overwhelmed people. This episode had C-3PO at the start, and then Anakin Skywalker, and then 45 minutes of action that made you literally forget that even happened. It was wild. We're going to dive right in. How we doing, Fearless? How we doing, Dennis? How we doing, Badger? What's up? Dennis says, I have a theory about the secret of Peridia, a different version of the Valley of the Jedi created from the Zepho. Interesting. Honey Badger says a 9 out of 10. Loved this episode, but for a penultimate episode, I would have to give it a hard 6 out of 10. Wow. But I did indeed love the action with the lightsaber duels and cinematography. Agreed. I'm losing my voice so bad today, guys. Actually, after our live streams on Tuesday, because we streamed for like 5 hours, and then I did my breakdown video, I woke up on Wednesday, had no voice at all. My throat was killing me. So if I lose my voice today, if I'm just sitting here going like this, that's why, okay? Your pal Joe says, I'm surprised that I didn't like it. I loved the first half, but the second half seemed a little over edited. I actually liked the second half better than the first, Joe, but that's just me. I thought that C-3PO and Anakin were cool, but I thought that the fight in the wasteland with Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka and Shin and Baylan and stuff, that was way better. But that's just me. Let the run time be what it needs to be to tell the story. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Somebody in the comment section of my video the other day was like, this would be a really, really good episode if this was a 24 episode season and we had a bunch of filler episodes. I was like, what does that even mean? Do you want a bunch of filler episodes? Like, we want a story being told where there's no filler episodes. We want a story that takes up the time that it needs to tell the story. If that's 6 episodes, if that's 8 episodes, if that's 12 episodes, it doesn't matter. However you tell the story, however long that takes, that's how many episodes it should be. That argument just was a little bit ridiculous to me. Corey Ryder, what's up, Corey, says they could catch Thrawn before he leaves and be the original trilogy. And be like original trilogies. I don't know what you're referring to when you say be like the original trilogies, but sure. True Greenbeard, do you have a green beard? I think he does. True Greenbeard, what's up? Says Baylan is one of the most compelling characters in all of Star Wars. I agree with that. And what I say this a million times over again. What really kills me is that Ray Stevenson is gone. Ray Stevenson passed away sadly back in May. And now his character has become literally one of the most compelling, mysterious characters in Star Wars ever. Not even like who's calling out to him, but his backstory and all this stuff. And his performance is spectacular. He's connected to Anakin. He's connected to the Jedi Order. He's connected to Thrawn. He's connected to whoever's calling to him. He's this very, very integral piece to the puzzle moving forward. And he just can't. He can't be. They're either going to have to recast him, deepfake him, or kill him off screen. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, but I agree with you. I agree. Ivan says, people want blood, not story. I have to disagree very crazily on that. There's time for action and there's time for story. And sometimes even the action tells a story. A lot of this episode was action, but a lot of it was story. I mean, Ahsoka had to get there. The Purrgil had to get blown out of space, which was so cool. And Ahsoka had to land on the planet, and that's what happened. Baylan and Shin were tracking down Ezra and Sabine. That's what happened. Baylan goes off on his own. That's what happened. You can see Shin really think about it when Ahsoka asks for her to take her hand, a lot like the sequel trilogy, but we'll talk about that. A lot of story was told. Although it was cool action, there was still a lot of story told. Guys, I'm losing my voice. Damn it. Okay. Honey Badger says, like Shin has the green kyber crystal in her hair. Baylan has one on his belt. They could indeed be their kyber crystals, and they keep green ones and orange ones for balance. Interesting. Yeah, I have seen that. Baylan has a kyber crystal on his belt. Shin has one in her hair. That is possible. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Your pal Joe says, it felt kind of like a filler episode. What? How is that possible? Ahsoka got to the planet, reunited with her friends, and there was the epic cool fight scene we've been waiting for 3 episodes now, or 2 episodes now. I don't know about that one. We still don't know what's in the box. I'll give you that. We still don't know what Baylan's calling out to. I'll give you that. But a filler episode, that's a little crazy. True Greenbeard says, the same people were complaining it was moving too slow in the first couple episodes. Pretty much. You can never win with some people. I mean, some people complain that it's too slow. Some people complain that it's too fast. Some people complain because it's just Disney Star Wars. I literally just replied to a comment on a short I created today that said, don't care, Disney Star Wars, all of it sucks, blah, 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 blah. And I pretty much just said, sorry you feel that way, but you're just stupid. And that's just kind of what I told them. There's people who are going to complain about anything. And obviously everybody takes the episode differently. I just absolutely loved this episode. That's just me. Mine is Book of Boba Fett. What do you mean, Austin? Your pal Joe says, I'm loving Baylan's story. Yeah, me too. Dennis says, maybe Kujet became the role of Marka Rangnos. I don't know who that is, but maybe. True Greenbeard says, oh wow, I didn't even know. That's awful. You didn't know that Ray Stevenson passed away? Yeah, that was back in May. So his character might be coming to a big halt here at the end of this season. Now, we'll talk about it in a little bit here when we get into the predictions for next week's episode, but I don't know if Balin's going to die in this next episode. I think he's going to survive. Corey Ryder says, Han and them, like, ride on the big ship and go with them to hyperspace. What? What are you talking about? Han and them go, like, hide on the big ship and go with them into hyperspace. I don't know what you're referring to. When Han, like, hides the Millennium Falcon on the back of the ship, and then they go with the junk, like, when Boba Fett tracks them down. Is that what you're talking about in Empire Strikes Back? My God, guys. Your pal Joe says, the score Master and Apprentice by Kevin Kiner, which I'm calling Balin's theme, is one of my favorites in Star Wars. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's very like mystical type, like, ringing sound. It's very, very good. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. Cappy says, so them stormtroopers are not undead. Yes, Cappy, that's actually a great point. Are they dead or not? And by the way, we got 13 people in here. Can we smash a like on the video? We only got 3 likes. What's going on there? What's going on there? And yeah, I don't know if these stormtroopers are undead or not. They definitely didn't turn into smoke, that's for sure. They definitely didn't turn into smoke when they died. So we'll see about that, but I don't know. Maybe they're dead, maybe they're not. It wouldn't make sense for them to not be dead, am I right? I mean, like, there's a whole, they're wrapped up in Night Sister garbs, and they got the gold going around there, like, seems like they're dead. Austin says, Ahsoka is the best, but Book of Boba Fett was awful. You think Book of Boba Fett was awful? I get that people don't really like the Book of Boba Fett. I like it more than most. It has its moments, I'll give you that. Has its moments. So they just need to shower. It's possible. They just need to shower. Yeah, maybe. Sean James McLeod says, I have a bad feeling about this. Why? I think we are going into the perfect finale right here. General Grievous, how we doing? Fearless says, Corey, I had the same idea, and I know the scene you're referring to. Well, then key me in. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Cappy says, I feel like the Night Sisters repaired the armor, but they're still humans inside. Interesting. So they're held together by Night Sister magic, but they're not dead. That could be true. Could be true. Don't want a ridiculously overpowered witches reanimating whole armies of stormtroopers. Yes, but that is what would make the threat a big threat. Thrawn within himself is not the biggest threat in the world. He's a big blue meanie. He's got a very smart brain. He's a lot like Sherlock Holmes. He's always 10 steps ahead, all this stuff. But he's not powerful. He doesn't have the Force. He doesn't have witches, magic. He doesn't have any of that. So to make Thrawn powerful, you got to give him an army. You got to give him witches. You got to give him all this other stuff to make him seem more powerful. Because if he went one-on-one with Luke or one-on-one with Ahsoka, one-on-one with Ezra even, he would lose. And he would lose big time, very quickly and very easily. He's a strategical threat. That's true, but that means he can't go one-on-one with any of these people, We'll see. We'll see, but I don't think that the Night Sisters are going to be underpowered. I think they will be utilized to the full extent of their abilities because the magic is kind of what is the threat right now. Their ability to pinpoint Ahsoka inside of that the ring around the planet was extremely important, showing their power and their ability because Thrawn doesn't have the Force, and nobody on his side really has the Force because Baylan and Shin are off doing their own thing, and Baylan, of course, has left the building. Sean says, there are too many plot holes. Interesting. Sabine keeps avoiding saying the truth. And why on earth is everyone normal about Ezra being sane after 10 years of isolation? Well, they're all sane. Why aren't we getting more on this? Well, a lot of that was explained off screen. I'll give you that much. We obviously see that because that's what they talk about. Ezra's like, so let me get this straight. And then he recaps the entire original trilogy with the Emperor dying and Sabine saying the funny line about, well, we don't know. That's what people say. But yeah, there is a lot. I'll give you that. There's a lot of why isn't Sabine telling Ezra everything? Well, that's because Sabine joined the bad guys. She joined the bad guys to come save him, and she doesn't really want to tell Ezra that there's no way home because there is no way home. Hence the title of the video and the thumbnail of the video. We're going to talk about this as well. And Ezra being sane after 10 years, Thrawn's sane after 10 years. If these troopers are indeed still alive and not undead troopers, they're still sane after 10 years. I get being alone for 10 years would maybe make you go insane, but Ezra was probably in tune with the Force, maybe had some conversations with even Kanan in the afterlife. We don't really know the full extent of Ezra Bridger's Force abilities. We just know that they're a lot stronger now. So he had some connection with the Force throughout these years. And who knows, maybe he had a few turtle babies. Sorry. But I do get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Sean. Cappy says, so this is getting more mysterious, and then boxes really do matter. Yeah, so let's get into the boxes, okay? Thrawn saw this whole episode as a win. Even though the bad guys lost, he sees it as a win because they're running out of time. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine, they're running out of time. Thrawn, Morgan Elsbeth, the Night Sisters, his undead army, they're all leaving the planet very, very soon. They just had to get these boxes loaded onto the Chimera. Now, what's in the box? What's in the boxes? What do we think? Let's see it. What do you guys think are in these boxes? Because I got a theory. I'm working on a full-on video. It'll come out tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a full-on theory on this, but we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to get some awesome, cool insight on the video, some sneak peeks, preview stuff on that video tonight. Fearless says, I forgot which movie it is, either in the original trilogy or maybe it was even in the sequel trilogy. Han hides on a ship and goes into hyperspace, is what you're telling me the scene is? I have no idea what you're referring to. Sean James says, I think they're going to leave too many questions unanswered for one finale. I think a lot of questions are going to go unanswered. I think we'll find out what's in the box. I think we'll find out maybe what's calling to Balin, but we might not even find that out either. I think to your point, Sean James, we're not going to find out a lot of these answers. All these questions might not be answered. That might lead to a season 2. That might lead to Dave Filoni's movie, and we might have to wait years to figure it out. But that's what Star Wars has always been. I mean, The Mandalorian season 1 ended with a happy ending, but it showed Moff Gideon at the end with a darksaber. Mando season 2 ends with the separation of Din and Grogu. We don't know if Grogu's actually going to go train with Luke or not. Then we have to wait till the Book of Boba Fett. Even Cobb Vanth at the end of the Book of Boba Fett is still in the bacta tank. Sorry, not Cobb. Yeah, Cobb Vanth. Is Cad Bane still alive? We've been waiting years for that answer. There's a lot of unanswered questions from other shows that still haven't been answered. I don't think we're going to get all the answers at the end of Ahsoka. I don't. I think we will get some, though. We will get some. Yeah. The Falcon hides on the Star Destroyer on the outer hull. So I think what you're referring to is in Empire Strikes Back when he hides on the backside of like the Star Destroyer, and then when the garbage comes out, they go flying with it, and then Boba Fett tracks them down to Cloud City. I think that's what you're referring to, but I'm not too sure. So what do we think's in the box? What do we think's in the box? Honey Badger says, I still think it's Night Sisters or Zabrak. Zabrak or Zabrak, whatever. They are the species that Darth Maul and Savage Opress were. Because Palpatine was scared of the Night Sisters, Thrawn could be bringing them back to our galaxy knowing they were all wiped out, and use that to his advantage. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Thrawn would know that they were all wiped out. He would know that. But here's the gist. Here's what's going on. When Thrawn crash lands here with Ezra in his Chimera, he crash lands and makes a deal with the Night Sisters, and that deal is that the Night Sisters will help him get back home by calling out to Morgan Elsbeth and bring his army back to life or help reconstruct his army, whatever it is. And in return, he's going to have to take these boxes, meaning the Night Sisters want him to take these boxes. So it might help Thrawn in the long run, whatever's in these boxes, but it seems like the Night Sisters are the ones that need these boxes moved. Yeah, that's it in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, okay, there you go. There you go. That's what you're referring to. It's possible they could do something like that, but we'll talk about that. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Thrawn made a deal with the Night Sisters, and in return, he has to bring these boxes with him. Took them 3 days to load all these boxes onto the Chimera. That's a long time. That's a lot of boxes. So whatever's in these boxes, is extremely important. Extremely important. And to your point about the dead Night Sisters, first of all, they wouldn't be living Night Sisters, because if they were, they would just be out of the boxes walking around. So if they're dead Night Sisters, why would they, first of all, not be brought back to life here? And second of all, why would they be brought with thrawn to this original galaxy? Because if the Night Sisters originated from this galaxy, this new galaxy, why would they want to go to the other galaxy to be brought back to life? What do we think about that? I'm sorry, guys. My voice is so bad today. I apologize. That's a lot of boxes. Yeah, it is a lot of boxes. Let me take a peek here. Let me Thrawn's boxes, Ahsoka. See if it shows up. Ahsoka. Thrawn's boxes, Ahsoka. What's in the box? They never want to show me what's in the boxes. What's in the boxes? Maybe this will show me. Nope. Okay, whatever. We can't find a picture. That's okay. What if there's Zepho artifacts? What's up, Ghost Rider? How we doing? Interesting. I don't know. Zepho artifacts wouldn't really make much sense. First of all, because the Zepho, although I do think this is Kujet that's calling out to Balin, and the jet in this temple or castle, whatever you want to call it, that they're in does have Zepho writing on it, I still find it hard to believe that this whole Night Sister kingdom was either taken over by the Zepho or had the Zepho involved in some way, you know? You know? Ypal Joe says, Mike, I'm glad we can disagree about Star Wars and still be civil about it. That's what this channel is all about. Couldn't agree with you more, Joe. I mean, if you didn't like the episode, if you did like the episode and I didn't like the episode, what's it to you? We can have a civilized conversation about it, about our different... We can all accept our differences, you know? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the dead Night Sisters. If, in fact, the dead Night Sisters that could possibly be in this box, let's say for a second that there are dead Night Sisters in these boxes. There are hundreds of them. And is Thrawn going to go back to Dathomir to bring them back to life? And if so, is he going to take all hundreds of these Night Sisters as a part of his army? And let's say they are dead Night Sisters. He does bring them back to Dathomir. He does revive them all. Are they going to still be alive by the time of the sequel trilogy? There's a lot of things in the sequel trilogy that are not involved at all. You don't see a single Mandalorian, even though the Mandalorians are back on Mandalore, rebuilding Mandalore, all that stuff. You don't see almost nearly any of the New Republic, even though we see them get blown up at the end of Force Awakens. We don't see any of them at the beginning of The Force Awakens. There's a lot of stuff missing there. But if there were... What the fuck? Don't do that. Stupid. Okay, so if there were Night Sisters, hundreds of Night Sisters, even if they're on Dathomir, they could leave the planet. Nobody's restricted to one planet. So they could leave the planet, and then we could be having magic-using Night Sisters, hundreds of them, just living amongst us in the galaxy that weren't mentioned in the sequels, that weren't involved in the sequels. If Luke Skywalker ever comes into contact with them, it wouldn't make sense for the sequels. That's the big Night Sister type thing going on here. And the other thing is, these boxes have technology on them. They have something that is kind of keeping the boxes alive, kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Let me try and find this photo real quick. Night Sister... Night Sister boxes maybe. Let me try and find it really quickly. Let me try and find it really quickly. Ezra, Thrawn, and Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka have no way home. Where the freak is this? Oh, there, found it. Found it. All right, so let's take a gander at this. Let's take a gander over here. You guys like my song, by the way? I think I'm gonna go platinum with that thing. All right, so this is the boxes in question. So there's a ton of them in the background over here, and there's probably even more. This was in episode 6, not even 7. But when you zoom in down here, there we go, perfect. You got this panel down here of technology. Now, this is seen on people frozen in carbonite as well, and that's to keep them frozen and alive inside the carbonite, inferring that there's something alive inside of these. Now, it could be dead Night Sisters that are being kept at a certain temperature or something so that their bodies don't decay or something along those lines, but I actually believe that there's either something living in here or that it's not living, it's dead, like a dead Night Sister, again, being kept at a right temperature to not decay. That's what we're thinking here. Ah, goddamn. I'm losing it. Ba-da-ba-ba. All right, so what I'm losing is my voice. So what I think's going on here is some creature by the name of, wait, what the frack? Come on, I hate it when it does that. So, what I think is going on here is there's a creature from Star Wars Legends. And I'm going to pull up a picture and we'll see who's the first one in the chat to be able to identify the being. Let's see. Ready? Let's play a game. Who can get it first? Boom. Go. This is what I think is in the boxes, okay? This is what I think is in the boxes. What do we think? Who's got it? Who is going to win the contest? If you win a million of these things. It's true. Tiger lizard thingies? No. Good guess. What is that? Okay, well, that's not a guess. Nobody knows? None of my legends sweaties are out there. Poisonous lizards. General Grievous, the Salamari, 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 whatever the freak you want to call it, the Salamari. Yes, you win the day. Grievous. The Salamari. So, the Salamari have never been introduced into Star Wars canon. Not once. Now, they do have a Legends background. Let's go to Wikipedia, our favorite for describing things we don't know. Are we ready? Let's take a gander over here at the Salamari, okay? So, Salamari were lizard-like tree dwellers, about 50 centimeters in length, native to the planet sure, whatever. That means nothing. This is all legends. It could be changed into canon, and Dave Filoni can do whatever the freak he wants. So, most known for their ability to repel the Force by creating a Force-neutral bubble. This ability evolved in response to their predators being Force-sensitive Vornskers. Sure, whatever. Many Salamari grouped together to expand their Force-neutral bubbles by various distances, sometimes by kilometers, meaning they can create this gigantic bubble, not like physical bubble, not like the Phantom Menace Gungan bubbles, like just a invisible bubble that is around the area of the Salamari that stops the Force. Now, Thrawn uses these things in Legends to go up against Luke Skywalker, to go up against these Force users, because he doesn't have the Force. And he has to stop that and kind of put them on an even playing field here. So, by having the use Salamari, he usually has one sitting on his shoulder. Actually, this is very interesting. Dave Filoni even teased at this in Star Wars Legends. Let me go back here. Whoops. No, not this. So, in Star Wars Rebels. In Star Wars Rebels, we see this. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. This is an image straight from Star Wars Rebels. We see Grand Admiral Thrawn, and we see this shot. Now, these two lizards aren't on his shoulders. They're behind him in some sort of case on the wall. And this is just making fun or playing fun at the Legends material of the Use Salamari, because they're not canon, and they have yet to be brought into canon, but they are very important to Grand Admiral Thrawn's character in canon. Okay? So what Dave Filoni did in Rebels was, hey guys, look what I can do. And he literally made the shot look exactly like the Calamari are sitting on his shoulders like they do in Legends. Now, this Force bubble, and even in that Wikipedia thing, it says if many of them are together at the same time, they can expand the bubble to a lot longer thing. If there are hundreds, or tens at least, tens if not hundreds, of Calamari in those boxes, let's say it's just one per box. Let's say they're living up a luxury life in those boxes. Let's just say, wait, what happened to my box picture? Did I delete the box? Are you? Oh wait, no, it's right here. It's right here. So let's just say each one of these boxes, because there's a lot of them, each one of these boxes has a Calamari in it. Okay? You're talking about tens, if not hundreds, of Calamari. Meaning, Thrawn, wherever him and his army go, will have this enormous bubble of Force blocking around them. Meaning any Force user, Ahsoka, Grogu, Ezra Bridger, Luke Skywalker, any of them will not be able to use the Force when fighting the Stormtroopers, when fighting the Night Sisters, when fighting Grand Admiral Thrawn himself. They'll either have to kill the Calamari first, or they'll just have to go without using the Force. Now, you could say they still have lightsabers, and they're still very skilled with the lightsabers, but you take away the Force from a Jedi, especially one like Ezra Bridger, who now only relies on the Force, it might just be what could push Thrawn over the edge. We just talked about how he doesn't have magic, he doesn't have the Force, he's not that big of a bad guy, and some normie fans are like, how is this big blue meanie a big bad guy when the Emperor was the last Emperor of the Empire? He had the Force, he could use Force lightning, he was this old guy with a hood on, and he was like, do it! And he was killing people with his Force lightning and using the Force, and even Darth Vader, one of the greatest villains in history of cinema, he had the Force as well. Going from that to Grand Admiral Thrawn is a big difference. But if he has the Calamari, or the Calamari, whatever you want to call him, that changes the game entirely. So I'm making a full video on this tomorrow. What's in the box? I talk about the Dead Night Sisters. I talk about the Calamari. So watch out for that video at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. But I delve deep into this. Who are the Calamari? All this other stuff. And honestly, I think this is the best bet. Not only was Dave Filoni literally teasing it out like years ago in Rebels with this Thrawn thing with the Calamari in the background right there. Not only was he teasing this out years ago in Rebels, but he always says that he's going to steal stuff from Legends. He always says that the stuff is already there. The same reason why people want to see Abeloth over this Zepho creature, the same reason that people want to see the Yuuzhan Vong over the Grisk is because the Vong have more background in Legends and the Grisk don't. It's as simple as that. You have a stronger connection to a character you already know and love from Legends, and that's why Dave Filoni pulls from that. That's why Thrawn is the heir to the Empire and not some new character. And that's why I think we'll be seeing the Calamari in those boxes. But tell me what you think. Please, please, please tell me what you think. Is this a great theory? Is this a shitty theory? Are you like, Mike, this is stupid? What are you talking about? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Let me scroll up a little bit so I can see what you guys are talking about. All right, here we go. Fearless says, that's the animal that can weaken the Force. Yes, yes. Mocking Brick Channel, what's up, Mocking Brick Channel says, everyone pulls Wikipedia up right now. Wikipedia, honestly, it's like Wikipedia for Star Wars, so you take it with a grain of salt, but it is extremely helpful all the time. You know? Caleb Richardson says, I don't know what they're called, but they negate the Force, right? Yes. So that's pretty much what they do. They stop the Force. And Thrawn with that ability, that'll be tough. Imagine the first time that he uses it too. Like he has a lizard like standing behind him or something, and Ahsoka walks in the room and tries to force Thrawn, or Ezra walks in the room and tries to force Thrawn, and they can't. They put their hand out to use the Force, in the sound that the Force makes starts and then stops immediately. Imagine how cool that's going to be, and Thrawn's going to be like, ha ha ha, you can't do that. But he'll say something more clever than that because he's not me, and it'll be amazing. He'll be like, you can't use the Force, bitch. He'll turn into Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. He'll be like, yeah, that's right, bitch. You can't use the Force anymore, bitch. It'll be so damn cool. It'll be so damn cool. Cappy says, oh yeah, don't Thrawn wear them? He does wear them in Legends, yes. Yeah. Yeah, but back to my point. Morgan's line is that she sees the catacombs. That's true. So she says that she sees the catacombs. And catacomb is an underground cemetery, pretty much, by definition. It's an underground cemetery with tombs in it. Or in this case, it could be tombs of dead Night Sisters or tombs of dead Salamari. Maybe they're dead too, and they have to be brought back to life. It's possible that all of them originated from this planet. And if you want to bring in a lizard that negates the Force, what better way to do it than bringing it from a new galaxy? You can literally just bring it from a new galaxy, you know? Honey Badger says that's pretty damn sick. It is sick. And how cool would it be if Thrawn actually had hundreds of these things to literally just say, ha, 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 ha. No. You aren't using the Force around me anymore. Ghost Rider says, with as many boxes, there would be enough to cover in an army. Yeah, so what if every single stormtrooper has one of these Salamari on their shoulders? Or like maybe every ship that goes out, or a TIE fighter or something along those lines. Like, what if the Force is just negated entirely with Thrawn's new army? Thanks, Revis. Mocking Brick Channel says, it looks like a mustache behind his back. What are you talking about? Oh, well, I get what you mean. Looks like a mustache behind his back this way. Ypala Joe says, damn, that's a pretty deep pull. Kudos for that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not that deep a pull. What really pulls it out is this. I mean, it was in Star Wars Rebels. They have yet to be introduced into canon at all. Like, their only appearances are in Legends. The closest to canon is, I guess, the Darth Plagueis novel, which I believe they're referenced in. But this right here is technically them behind Thrawn and Dave really playing mind games with us, but they've never been introduced in canon. But thank you. Ironically, it would call him a mustache twirling villain. Oh, it wouldn't call him a mustache twirling villain. What are you talking about? True Greenbeard says, I hope they poke some holes in the boxes. I know. Well, they're going to die if they don't. Well, no, they got the technology on it, and these boxes clearly look pretty fancy, if I do say so myself. We'll see. Yeah. Brittany J. Taylor says, the Chiss word for attention, according to translator on the internet, is cha-chant. Cha-chant? Is that what the troopers has said? What? Some Chiss are, or could, in Thrawn's ranks? Oh, you think the Chiss are in those stormtrooper helmets, Brittany? That would be a little bit crazy there. I don't think so, but maybe. Cappy says, lol, that's where Sabine steps in. That's true. Sabine doesn't have the Force. She doesn't have the Force. But Thrawn's still going to have an army. Just because he's negating the Force doesn't mean that, we'll see. Caleb Richardson says, Ezra, I'm only going to use the Force. Thrawn, it's big brain time. That's true. Ezra's literally like, I'm not going to use my lightsaber. I'm only going to use the Force. And Thrawn's like, hey, guess what? You can't do that either anymore, buddy. That's pretty funny. Greenbeard says, Sabine would be most powerful and skilled of the gang if in a Force-free environment. That's true. She's trained to be a Mandalorian warrior, so yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but they still have the ability to use lightsabers. So Ahsoka and Ezra, although he doesn't use a lightsaber anymore, but Ahsoka and Sabine and Luke Skywalker even, they still have the ability to be very, very powerful with a lightsaber. They just can't use the Force. Yeah. We shall see about the Usalamari. Very, very true, General Grievous. Very well said. Sean James McLeod says, but why would they need that? There are hardly any Jedi. That's true, but if it's Thrawn versus Luke, if it's Thrawn versus Ezra, if it's Thrawn versus Ahsoka, it's game over. It's just game over, because if it's a one-on-one, Thrawn's got nothing. He's got no force. He's got no magic. He's got a blaster on his side. That's it. It would be game over real quick. So he needs some type of something to make the playing ground a little bit more even, you know? So although there are hardly any Jedi, it seems like he's facing up against a lot of Jedi for there being hardly any left, you know? That's a pretty damn good theory. Thanks, Badger. Thank you. Bodies, not lizards? I don't know, Brittany. They're pretty small boxes. If you really look at the boxes... Oh, where the fuck does this picture of boxes keep going? If you really look at the boxes, it doesn't look like they're the size of a person. You got 2 stormtroopers. It looks like if this stormtrooper was to lay next to it, the stormtrooper would be longer. And stormtroopers are not that long, or tall, I should say. So, I don't know. It seems like maybe there's a body fit in there, but it would be a pretty small body. And we know that, like, the Zepho and even some of the Night Sisters are a lot taller than most just normal human beings. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But a lizard, or maybe multiple lizards per box, you never know. You never know. Thanks, Ghost Rider. Awesome Guy says, there's a theory that Balin is after the wills or the Force gods. Maybe, but my thing with that is, if he's after the Force gods or the wills of the Force, Yoda goes to see the wills of the Force in Clone Wars Season 6. He doesn't have to leave the galaxy to do so. Yoda doesn't leave the galaxy to do that. So I don't think that's what's going on here. I think it's most likely a bigger threat or somebody from the beginning. Most likely, I would guess either a Rakata, this Zepho person, or Abeloth. I think those are the best 3 guesses, because he does say go back to the beginning, and almost the beginning are the Rakata. Could be talking about the Qua or something along those lines, like a celestial or celestial. But I think you're more likely looking at Abeloth, this Zepho creature, or probably an ancient Rakata, you know? Your pal Joe says, what the fuck, where'd it go? I love the theory, but my only speculation is what Morgan said about it being a catacomb. It 100% makes me think that it's dead Night Sisters. That's true, but it could be dead Salamari. We don't even know for sure that this is a Night Sister castle. With the mention of Kujet and the Zepho on the outside of this castle, it could be a Zepho castle. Now, we do know that Balin says that this was once a Night Sister kingdom, but that doesn't mean it was recently a Night Sister kingdom. It could have been a long time ago. All Sabine has to do is shoot thrawn? Well, all anybody has to do is shoot thrawn, technically. Seems a little bit harder to do. Greenbeard says, it seems kind of cliche. Oh, the superheroes lost their power this episode? It's a trope already. That's true, but that's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is just that. I mean, it's poetry. It rhymes all the time. It does a lot of the similar things through generations of storytelling. But it is just supposed to be that, just kind of cliche, your average kind of story. It's just what it is. It makes sense for the villain to get a super lizard that'll stop the Force. Makes sense. It does make sense. Let's see what the poll's at right now. So right now, 43% of you, which is the majority, still loved the episode. 35% of you liked it, and 22% said, meh. 0% hated it, which is always a good thing. Awesome Guy says, Ahsoka, Luke, Shin, Balin, Ezra, and more are still alive Force users. True. Yeah, there's plenty. There is plenty. Yeah. Haha, Jesse Pinkman as a Sith would be lit. True, mainly minimal. Great news, Mike. Finally got my settlement from court. $21,000. God damn, Badger. That's amazing. And got my haircut today. Did you give him a big tip? At my barbershop and met the owner. I'm gonna be starting there soon. Oh, that's awesome, Badger. Congratulations. Congrats. Can we get some round of applause in the chat for Badger? Round of applause in the chat for Badger. Cappy says, yeah, I'm convinced in them being Salamari. I am too. I think the Salamari must be involved in this story in some way. It has to give thrawn an upper hand on the good guys, because the good guys are very force heavy with Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, even, who's trying to figure out the force, but even Luke Skywalker. Like, the heroes are very force sensitive. Even Grogu, if you look at Grogu and Mando and all them, you still got a bunch of force sensitive beings. To negate that, the Calamari. And it would actually make a lot of fans very happy, because many fans from Legends and love Legends, they would absolutely love to see the Calamari come into live action. I'm not the only one. Your pal Joe says, does that mean you're becoming a member? JK Badger. Oh, congrats, man. Yeah. General Grievous says, I think Calamari are more probable to appear in some way than Abeloth at this point. Yeah, I think 100% the Calamari are way more likely than Abeloth. Abeloth is way too overpowered. And that's why I think it's probably the Zepho or the Rakata. I think Abeloth would just be too overpowered and honestly just too scary. Sound like I'm being a wimp? Well, that's too bad. Maybe I am a wimp, okay? Abeloth is scary. Brittany says, I think some Chiss are in Thrawn's ranks because the subtitles said alien language and it sounded like the troops said chakant. It's not a bad theory, Brittany. It's not a bad theory, but how would the Chiss get there? Maybe they went with him, and maybe the Chiss were already involved in the ranks of the stormtroopers. It is possible, because not all stormtroopers are humans. That's not like something that must happen. Cappy says, time for everyone to dress up as a stormtrooper and sneak on board. Oh my God, Cappy. I know that's a joke, but you might actually be right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the whole title of this video, this live stream, and the whole thumbnail of this video and live stream. How are they going to get home? There is no way home. The only way back is on the Eye of Sion, on the Chimera. That's the only way back with Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Purgle are gone. Sabine came with them. There's only one way out. There's only one way out for you Andor fans. There's only one way out. And that is on the Chimera with Grand Admiral Thrawn. And to Cappy's joke, it might actually happen. There's a bunch of dead stormtroopers around them that they might just dress up as and get on the ship. Now, Ahsoka obviously would not be able to fit into one of the outfits. Yeah, I take it back. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it is kind of funny. It is kind of funny. But all right, let's ask the class then. How do you guys think we are going to see Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka, and Huge Wang, of course, get back home? How are they going to get back home? Because right now, the Purgle are gone. Thrawn is the only way out, and he is the enemy. Ahsoka, no way home. I know. It's Spider-Man, no way home, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at here. So what do we think? Your pal Joe says, do the Calamari completely negate the Force or drain it or repel it? How does it work? Technically, it says repel, but it's more just like a bubble. And in that bubble, it's not like a physical bubble, but it's a fictional, or like an invisible bubble around the person. And the Force just can't enter the bubble, pretty much. It doesn't get like bounced off of it. It just like negates it, you know? So witches aren't blocked by Calamari? Ooh. They don't use the Force at all. Is magic blocked by the Calamari? I don't think so, because it says that they evolved from their predators being Force sensitive. Interesting. So maybe, yeah, magic might be the key. And that would mean Merrin and Cal Kestis, ladies and gentlemen. Merrin and Cal Kestis from the Jedi games, because Merrin is his Night Sister. That would be crazy. Mainly Minimal says, good theory, but why would he need so many? Interesting. That's a good question. Why would he need so many? Maybe because his whole army. He wants an entire army to have this Calamari and this ability to block the Force. Mocking Brick Channel says, I think his theory might become true after you pull the Rebels Easter egg up. Yeah, I think that's the biggest key of piece of evidence is this. Dave Filoni already put it in Rebels. So, we'll see. We shall see. Fearless says, maybe he wants to use them against the Emperor and take his Force powers. he couldn't know that Sidious is dead somehow. That's true. He probably thinks Sidious is still alive. Would he though? Because he has communication with the remnant of the Empire. The remnant of the Empire, the Shadow Council in The Mandalorian Season 3, knows that Thrawn is coming back. General Captain Pelion, I think his name is. He knows that Thrawn is on his way back. So he's had some conversations or some communication with the galaxy via probably the Night Sisters and Morgan Elsbeth. So, I don't think so. I don't think he's using this to take the power from Palpatine. Caleb says, Night Sister magic is ambiguous. Some Jedi say it's a different form of using the Force, and other Jedi say that it's not the Force and something else entirely. Yeah, I would guess that magic is something else entirely. I don't think it's the same thing as the Force. I don't think it is the Force. I think it's something else entirely. Honey Badger says, so you know what that means. I'll be a member soon. Give me 2 weeks. Oh, awesome, Badger. That's amazing. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. True Greenbeard says, yeah, I guess tropes are unavoidable. Yes, it's true. It is true. It is true. What the hell? Damn it, it just scrolled to the bottom. Let me go back up 1 second. Awesome Guy says, according to Making Star Wars, Ezra does make it home 100%, but unsure about the others. I have read that. So, yes. So I think Ezra Bridger at least makes it home. That's what he says. And what's interesting is that there's rumors that Ahsoka won't make it home. I don't see Ezra Bridger making it home and Ahsoka not making it home. Now, what the rumors say is that someone will get left behind in this last galaxy, and I think that someone is going to be Baylan Skoll. I don't know how, but somehow they're all going to make it home. Now, whether that's with Thrawn on the Eye of Sion, somehow they sneak on or something, or I don't know what happens. Either that's what happens, or they somehow summon the Purgle back. I don't know. But I do think they will all get home. Our question is, or our goal here is to figure out how that's possible. Friggins, what's up, Friggins? How we doing? Ghost Rider says, the only thing I don't like about this show is Sabine not using any bombs or grenades. Other than that, this show is awesome. Well, she used them in the last episode, which was cool. Yeah, I do wish she used her Mandalorian-ness more. her Mandalorian stuff more. That would be cool. She definitely has kind of brought it out in some battles. We see it in episode 4, I think it was, when she's fighting against Shin in the forest, and then we just saw it again in this episode. And it's really cool when she does that. She takes out the missile, blows up a bunch of the stormtroopers. She uses the flamethrower. She uses the like grapple thing that Fen Rao gave to her. Like, that stuff is cool, and I wish we did see more of that. I agree with you, Ghost Rider. There's always room for more of that, you know? Yeah, no. Yo, super interesting to see what Baylan is up to in this finale. Could not agree with you more. I cannot wait to see if we actually find out who's calling to Baylan. I think we will. But it might end on a gigantic cliffhanger. What if Baylan helps Ahsoka in the end? I could see that. He isn't opposed to doing that. When Ahsoka comes down and says, "You're surprised to see me," because of course he killed her. He says yes, but I'm not mad about it, or something along those lines. He's not upset to see to see Ahsoka, because he didn't want to kill her. And even when he kills her, he says it didn't have to come to this, and then he kills her. Like, he doesn't want to kill Ahsoka. He's not a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. You know where Baylan would fit in perfectly is in Wreck-It Ralph. You guys know what I'm talking about? Wreck-It Ralph. You seen Wreck-It Ralph? Give me a 1 into the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Give me a bunch of 1s into the chat if you know what I'm talking about, because that's a fantastic comparison. Baylan would fit perfectly in the council of bad guys that aren't bad guys. You know what I'm talking about? Wreck-It Ralph and like the other, exactly. Baylan's the new Dooku, kind of, and Dooku wasn't even a bad guy either. Dooku was a lot like his Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn. He saw the flaws in the Jedi and wanted to leave, but he didn't want to become a Sith Lord. He was kind of just lured to the dark side by Palpatine, just like Anakin was. And Dooku, even towards the end, even in Attack of the Clones, was trying to tell Obi-Wan what was going on. He literally came out and said, there's a dark side Sith Lord in charge of the Senate right now. And Obi-Wan was like, yeah, good one. Good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, buddy. Stupid Obi-Wan Kenobi. God damn it. Awesome Guy says, I can see Filoni incorporating some of George Lucas's original sequel ideas with like the wills of the Force. I could see that. For sure, I could see that. But maybe in like a post-sequel world. Maybe not in this time period between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. I do think that Dave Filoni's going to get a lot more power very soon, seeing how it seems as though the scoopers and leakers are saying that Kathleen Kennedy might actually be gone extremely soon. And I don't want to get too hyped up on that because I don't want my hopes to get gunned down again as we've gone on this roller coaster ride of she's going to get fired, she's not going to get fired, she's going to get fired, she's not going to get, she's going to get fired, she's not going to get fired. I don't want to get on that hype again until she actually is fired, and then we're going to be like, oh yeah, I still got that thumbnail. I got the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, from months and months ago, ready to go for the emergency live stream of Kathleen Kennedy's gone. I'll go and buy some popcorn. We'll have a freaking party. But I think that might actually happen soon. I think that might actually happen very, very soon. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Why did it just scroll to the bottom? Purgle's going to come back. Okay, to that point, the Purgles are going to come back and save the day. Why would the Purgle come back? First of all, if they are able to call out to the Purgle, that would just make no sense. Because Ezra Bridger would have done that a long time ago to try and get them to come back, to try and get himself to go home. I just don't see that being the case. If it's that simple, that easy, that would need some explaining to do. That would need some explaining to do for sure. So I don't know if or how the Purgle will come back, but it is possible that that's how they do get home. Ezra and Sabine sneak on the open door. Ahsoka and Huge Wang fly in. So you're saying they just fly into the Chimera and just hitch a ride? You think they won't go unnoticed? I think that's a little bit far-fetched, but we'll see. We'll see what's up Dave Filoni's sleeve here, because there's only one episode left. So only one episode left, and it has to be a banger. There's no room for failure in this finale, because this finale is going to be talked about for months and months and months until the next show, which is Skeleton Crew, which has no release date. So it's going to be a long time that this finale will be talked about, and it needs to be a banger. Your pal Joe says they could land on the Eye of Sion just before it jumps into hyperspace, or the Chimera. I guess, but it would have to be done correctly, I guess. It would have to be done correctly. Do you think Shin will end up joining Ahsoka? Yes, I do think Shin will end up joining Ahsoka. I think that's what they were leading to in that last episode. I do think that's where we're going with this. But, yeah, I think Shin will definitely come to the light side eventually. And it's interesting. The last thing that Baylan taught her was something like if you rush success, it'll lead to failure. Now, it'll be interesting to see what that means, because that of course, was for a reason. Nothing is really done for no reason in this show so far, so we'll see what that means. Fearless says, very far-fetched, but what if Ezra and Ahsoka somehow find a way into the world between worlds and they could just go home through that? Could that happen? I think no. I think the world between worlds has been described as something completely different. There's no way to just walk through the world between worlds like a teleportation device. That is not how it's used. The world between worlds, as it's now described, is a place in between, of course, the living and the dead, but it's not a pathway to go from one spot to another. Ezra Bridger comes out the same location that he went in. Ahsoka Tano comes out the same location that she went in. And not only that, but when Ahsoka goes in live action, it's more of a dream sequence. She is there physically. She is there. But it's more of a dream sequence, and the world between worlds is more of created of the person who's involved in it. Where Ezra Bridger was there, it was more portals. When Ahsoka was there was no portals, and then there was flashback sequences and stuff like that. So the World Between Worlds is not a way to go from here to there. It's just not. It's not a teleportation device. It's not a way to travel to this new galaxy and back. It's not that. So I don't think the World Between Worlds is on the table here. I don't think it is. But I like the theory. But I don't think it is possible. I think Shin joins Ahsoka 100%. I agree. Awesome Guy says, I think the finale will be our heroes trying to stop Thrawn from escaping Peridia. I think so too, but are our heroes going to get trapped there as well? I find that a little hard to believe. I think the finale is going to end with, of course, I've made this video months and months ago, Thrawn and his army making it to the galaxy. And I think how they're going to convey, like, the fear of the galaxy is maybe Mon Mothma and Harrison Dula really realizing what's happening, that Thrawn is here, and somehow they figure that out. Maybe he attacks Coruscant, maybe he's planning to attack Coruscant, something along those lines, to really get fans excited for what's to come next, you know? Yeah, no? Thanks for the hearts, guys. Cappy says, there's a massive hole at the bottom of Thrawn's ship. That's true. That's the docking area. But I don't know if that'll be able to be flown into. You know, there's like usually a shield there when they take off. Yeah, no. Ypal Joe says, Morgan and Baylan know about the fall of the Empire. They could have just told him. Yeah, I'm sure Thrawn definitely knows about the fall of the Empire. For sure. Like, there's no way he doesn't at this point. Especially now that Morgan's been there for 3 days explaining everything to him. What was so cool about last episode was Thrawn's realization that Anakin Skywalker was Ahsoka's master. He shit his pants. He literally like looked and was like, oh, what? Because he's one of the only people in the galaxy, one of very few people that knows that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. And when he leaves the galaxy, Darth Vader's still alive. So his first question to Enoch is, was there only one ship? Because if Anakin's here as well, he's in deep doo-doo this time, and he knows that. That's why he shits his pants when he finds out. But then he says, it looks like if she's anything like her master, she'll be very, he says something like unpredictable and whatever. So yeah, it was very cool. That was a very cool reaction. That was a great performance by Lars Mikkelsen. You know? Yeah, no? Finn, what's up? Finn says, hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late to the party. Don't worry about it, Finn. Thanks for being here. Fearless says, yeah, I forgot about that. The Shadow Council. Yeah, so the Shadow Council in Mando Season 3 kind of does a lot of explaining to this. Captain Pelion talking about Thrawn's great comeback and how he's going to be the heir to the Empire and stuff like that with a big army. And now we're getting all that kind of explained here. Honey Badger says, I would love for them to get on the Chimera, then enter the World Between Worlds portal on the ship and beat Thrawn in our galaxy and exit on Lothal. That's my theory. Again, I don't think the World Between Worlds is a way to go through. It's not a transportation device. I don't think so. I don't think so. They could attach to the Chimera like the Falcon did in Empire Strikes Back. I guess that's possible. But I doubt it. Also, great breakdown video as always, Mike. I watched it earlier today. Thanks, Finn. Thank you. Cappy says, yeah, Sabine had a mini missile saved up all the time. All this time. She should have used it to kill Baylan. But she didn't. It would have been cool, like, when Baylan is coming at her in episode 4 or whatever that was, if she did try and use like a missile or something and Baylan just blocked it with the Force or something, that would be kind of cool. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. We'll see. Friggin says, smash that like button, you womp rats. Yeah, guys, what are you waiting for? General Grievous says, I do think the same about Mandalorian-ness of Sabine. Yeah, I think we got to see a lot more of that, you know? Awesome Guy says, I don't think that Baylan has any plans to go back home, especially after losing Thrawn's trust. I think he has plans to go back home just after he meets this, whoever it is, meets this person calling to him. Whether it's Abeloth, whether it's the Vong, whether it's the Grisk, whether it's this Zepho, whether it's a Ricotta, whether it's something else. I think he does plan on coming back to the galaxy because he does want to take over as power that is a lasting power. But we'll see if he ever makes it back because, as we know, we talked about earlier. Grievous says, Dooku trained me in the Jedi arts. That's true, Grievous. He did. Finn says, Mike, get an emergency red button for when it happens. Emergency red button for when it happens. Oh, for when KK gets fired? I don't know how I would do that. How would I access this emergency red button? And we got 20 of you guys in here. Can we smash a freaking like on this video? God damn. God damn. Is it too much to ask? But yeah, no, we'll definitely have an emergency live stream when that happens. Man, I can't wait for Kathleen Kennedy. She needs to go. I know. Me too, Badger. Me too. What if they Me Too Filoni? No. A video from Mike a day keeps KK away. Sadly, I didn't give a video today. I posted a short. But yes, keeps KK away. Ezra could not fly up to the Purgle. That's true, but the Purgle could have come down to him. There's no reason the Purgle can't land on a planet. You know? Just because we haven't seen it before. Awesome Guy says, there's an old leak of Ahsoka riding a wolf. Could she come back to Lothal? It is possible, because we know that, of course, when Ezra keeps referring to home, he is talking about Lothal. It's possible that Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka could end up on Lothal at the end of the show, but I actually think that leak of Ahsoka riding a wolf was what we saw in the last episode. Now, it wasn't a Loth wolf, but it was one of those hounds or whatever they were calling them, and she was riding one of them. So in theory, that's what it might have been referring to. Can I please get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Look at this good cup. It follows such great orders. I'm bummed out that Ahsoka's going to end with the finale next week, but I got a lot of work to do around the channel, like starting up the merch shop with mugs that say good cups follow orders on it, like starting up the membership Discord. Like, we got a lot of cool stuff to do. I want to start doing call-ins when Ahsoka ends. Maybe on Saturday nights we do call-ins for members. A lot of fun stuff like that. Stuff I want to start doing, but so busy with Ahsoka. So once Ahsoka ends, and maybe like a week or two after, we'll get all that stuff in the works. You know? What if they pull a Millennium Falcon and hide in the hull? Again, I think it's possible, but they'll have to do it right. Yeah. Greenbeard says, if Balin is gone, then Shin might take up his quest. Maybe. My thing is, I don't think Shin can make it back to the Chimera in time. She's riding one of those hounds across the wasteland, and it seems like they've come a long, long way. She's not going to make it back in time. Like, she won't beat the ships back, so it's going to take her a while to ride back. We'll see. We shall see. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Yupala Joe says, we should touch on Thrawn talking about the loss of time that our heroes are apparently experiencing. What does he mean by that? He means that they lost the time that they needed to get on his ship almost. Like, they're running out of time to get back or kill him, I guess, because they're loading up all these boxes onto his ship. So the time he is referring to is the time it takes for them to load these boxes, pretty much. So they're almost out of time because they've almost loaded all the boxes, and then they can leave, meaning they're going to be stranded here forever. So that's the time they're referring to. Honey Badger says, that was my favorite part of the episode. Thrawn finding out Anakin was Ahsoka's master. It was a pretty cool reaction and performance by Lars for sure. I hate it when it scrolls to the bottom like that. That's such a bummer. Awesome Guy says, we are likely getting a Ahsoka versus Morgan rematch. Ooh. Maybe not, just because Morgan doesn't have the Beskar spear anymore, and what would she use as a defense against Ahsoka's lightsabers? MKB says, they will fall They will fail. Sorry, they will fail to stop Thrawn. Ahsoka will stay behind, and that's it. I don't think Ahsoka's staying behind. I know that was people's theory about the leak, but the leak just says that someone stays behind, and it's clear that Balin's going to be that someone. So I think they're all going to make it back in one way or another, because I don't see a world where Ezra and Sabine and Hu Yang leave Ahsoka behind. That just seems a little ridiculous to me. But maybe. I love seeing C-3PO. C-3PO was cool. It was cool. The only thing I didn't like about that actually was I wanted to see Leia. I wanted to see Leia so damn bad. I think maybe they're saving Leia, maybe for the finale, but I think probably for the movie. Yeah, I really wanted to see her though. Yeah. Finn says, we still don't know what's in the box. I know, Finn. We just talked about that for a while. I think maybe before you popped in the chat, but I think it's the Salamari. I do think it's the Salamari. Full video coming out tomorrow about that at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so watch out for that video. I do think it's that. Ezra blocking Shin's saber attack with the Force was badass. Okay, let's talk about this. Since you brought it up, Joe, let's talk about this. Dave Filoni poking fun at the sequel trilogy. He's doing it almost all of the time. Okay? We talked about it in the first couple episodes with the whole map to find Luke and the whole map to find Ezra and Thrawn. That's very similar. You have this whole forcing the lightsaber thing. That's very similar. I feel like every time I bring this up, I can't remember any of the instances, but there's so fucking many. Thrawn poking fun at Jedi can't die. Nobody's ever truly gone. That kind of stuff. Somehow Palpatine returns. Again, last episode, Sabine, when Ezra asks, and the Emperor's really dead, and she says that's what people say, again, referring to somehow Palpatine returned. And actually, I poked fun at this a little bit on my Twitter and Instagram. If you guys aren't following my Twitter and Instagram, what the hell are you guys doing? Sorry, X. Yeah, this was funny. So let's go follow me. Let's get me to 20,000 on Instagram, please. Let's get that. Let's get that going. If you guys aren't followed, we're pretty close, I think. But yeah, we poked some fun at this. This was pretty funny. But I feel like Dave Filoni is poking fun at the sequel trilogy over and over and over and over and over again. First of all, I love it. Absolutely love it. I love this. This is amazing. And I hope he continues to keep poking fun at the sequel trilogy because it's awesome. But do you guys get this, or is this just a me thing? Like, are you guys seeing that Dave Filoni's actually poking fun at the sequel trilogy, or is this just something I'm imagining in my own brain here? What do we think? Because this is fucking hilarious. You're being toxic now. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm being toxic. Good one, Aim Punch. How we doing? Yeah, no, it seems like he's definitely poking fun left and right. I agree. I think he's doing it on purpose. Finale needs to be at least 50 minutes long. I think it will be. I think the premiere was like 56 minutes, something like that. I think it'll probably be around that. Yeah, which is amazing. It is amazing. All right, let me scroll back up to see. I missed some chats. 1 second. Greenbeard says, seems like Ezra should have accomplished a bit more in 10 years. Accomplished what? He's become a lot stronger with the Force, but what would he accomplish? I'm actually asking. I don't know what he would have accomplished. Your pal Joe says, he was severely outmanned and needed to hide to survive. Well, yeah, he obviously needed to hide, but I'm more asking, like, what could he have possibly accomplished? He's on this unknown planet with no way home. I'm guessing he was probably just trying to find a way home the entire time. Awesome Guy says, what if Ahsoka sacrificed herself to stay behind so that Ezra and Sabine escape Peridia and give the New Republic a fighting chance against Thrawn? But again, how would Ezra and Sabine leave and Ahsoka stays behind? How would Ahsoka staying behind help at all? It wouldn't. If Thrawn is the big threat, Ahsoka's really scared about him being the heir to the Empire. She would not stay here, especially voluntarily. MKB says, KK is going nowhere until 2024 and her contract expires. Well, to your point of the contract, she did sign an extension fairly recently, not like within the last couple months, but within the last couple years. And to your point, people retire all the time. People retire, people step down, people get fired. There is almost never, and I wouldn't say never, but there's rarely a scenario where somebody just leaves when their contract is up. They usually leave on a high or a low if they get fired, or on a high if they want to step down, if they're being forced to step down. I think that's what Kathleen's probably going to do here with this big hit show of Ahsoka, of the Ahsoka series. She's probably going to take that as a win and say, look, I did all this, I accomplished all this, and now I'm going to step down and allow somebody else to take my place. I think she's being forced out for sure, but I think she's going to want to go out on a high. Now, it is, like I said before, rare when you see somebody walk out when their contract is up. So, although her contract does go till 2024, at the end of 2024, I believe, I think she'll be gone long before then. Yeah. Yeah, Cappy said they're just going to ditch the turtle people. I mean, I guess the turtle people have been doing pretty well themselves. They are a peaceful species. They seem to be doing pretty well themselves. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Collins would be amazing. Yeah, we'll get to Collins at some point. Once we get that membership Discord going and stuff, yeah, we'll get that going. For sure. MKB says, I give this series a 4 out of 10. Whoa, 4 out of 10? I think the writing is awful. They have done nothing to build the new characters or tell the story. We have no idea what Thrawn's plan is or what the Night Sisters want. That's true, but what are they just going to give us all the answers right away? There's most likely either going to be an Ahsoka season 2, or it's going to lead right into what could possibly be a trilogy, if not just a movie. But we also have The Mandalorian season 4. The Mandalorian didn't answer all the questions. We're still got questions about Grogu, and Grogu's been around for 5 years. They're not just going to give us all the answers right away. And the writing is awful. What? That's a little crazy. But in not building up new characters, Balin's like the coolest new character we've seen in Star Wars since Disney's taken over. What are we talking about here? Could not disagree with you more. Matthew Tatter, what's up, Matthew, says, Balin might summon some crazy force demon, and they all team up to escape. Interesting. Balin might finally find who's calling to him, and then they might all escape with that thing. That would be kind of crazy, but I don't think so. I think they're going to leave this whole greater threat for a post-sequel timeline. And I think everybody doesn't like a cliffhanger. This cliffhanger is going to last a long time, like years and years and years and years and years. Whoever's calling out to Balin, we might find out about it, but that threat might not become a thing for could be 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years. Your pal Joe says, maybe Shin runs into Balin and they fight each other. Shin runs into Balin, but they're going opposite directions. I don't think so. Balin no longer has a howler because Ahsoka stole his. That's true. He's just walking off into the sunset. Just walking around, talking about who knows what. MKB says, loading the boxes of dead Night Sisters. Yes. Oh, was that like an ending to your last phrase? Or what the Night Sisters want, loading the boxes with the dead Night Sisters. That's true, but that's what this is all about. The speculation from one week to the next. We're obviously going to find out what's in those boxes at some point, but this is what the fun is. Let's put it this way. If A New Hope came out and the first scene went, this is Darth Vader. He's Luke's father. He's Anakin Skywalker. He got trained by Obi-Wan and then died. And this is the Emperor, and he is Sheev Palpatine, and he persuaded Anakin to the dark side, and that was all like the first scene. Well, then just stop the show. Stop the movie. Stop the series. It's just, do you want a full explanation of everything going on? How would you like to tell a story? Aim Punch says, pretty sure that if they get back to the original galaxy, things won't be the same. Interesting. What do you mean? Things won't be the same? As in what? Awesome Guy says, Morgan Elsbeth actress did talk about the fight scene with Ahsoka. Yes, let's dive into that article. All right, so I left off on Brandon. I'll get to everybody's chat. Don't worry about it. But let's get into this article right here. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. How we doing? We got 26 people here. Wow. You guys are the best. Smash a freaking like on this video while you're at it. And welcome if you're a newbie. Hit that subscribe. Let's get into this article right here. What the frack? Boom, got it. Ahsoka star Diane Lee Innocento, sure, whatever. The girl who plays Morgan Elsbeth accidentally spoiled one big finale scene. So we don't know much about what's coming in the finale. They kind of stay hush-hush on the whole finale stuff and what's going on and all that stuff. It's good to see. I don't like spoilers. Just kidding. I love spoilers. But I like to speculate more than I like spoilers. So having the back half of the season kind of just be all mysteries. By the way, love in the hearts, guys. The back half of the season be mostly a mystery is very, very cool. So let's dive into this. With that being said, Star Wars actress Diana, we'll just go with Diana, mistakenly gave away an upcoming scene from Ahsoka's finale. So let's read on. In an interview conducted prior to the SAG-AFTRA strikes. All right, let's just take a quick side note to talk about the strikes. Just really, really quickly, let's talk about the strikes. The writer's strike is officially over. It's officially over, which is enormous. Things can get back to normal. People can start to write again and all that stuff. The actors are still on strike. The actors are still on strike. They're still on strike. They are still on strike. But negotiations start up again on October 2nd. Now, the negotiations for the writers went very quickly. It took 5 days, I think, 6 days, which is very fast. So you're talking about the actors' strike might be over by 2 weeks from today at the latest. So you're talking about actors, writers, everything, the whole machine that is Hollywood gets back up and running, and we're getting our Star Wars content again. So all this stuff of the strikes and stuff might be all over very, very soon, which is great. Great news all around. It seems like the writers got a really good deal, which is great for those writers. They won't be cut out by AI. By the way, I found this new AI that makes editing my videos 1,000 times faster. Oh, it's fantastic, but that's a whole nother thing. So yes, the strikes, although they are still going on for the actors, are almost over. So this was before the strike started. Diana spoiled a fight sequence between Ahsoka's finale when talking with Entertainment Weekly's Dagobah Dispatch. When asked about the difference between working on The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, Diana brought up the fight scene between Rosario Dawson and Morgan Elsbeth before noting this time around we had days at it. So this is what this is her full quote. What felt different? That's a great question. I will tell you one thing. The fight scene for sure, because we had about 17 hours to kick out that fight between Rosario and I in The Mandalorian. Whereas this time around, we had days. Let's just say that. So this fight from The Mandalorian Season 2, they ripped out in only 17 hours. And that's a pretty good fight. It's a pretty good fight. Honestly, my problem with this fight is they cut away a couple times to Mando and the other dude that's outside because they have like the standoff or whatever. But it is a pretty good fight still, especially to do in only 17 hours. This one that'll be in the finale took days, meaning Ahsoka and Morgan Elsbeth are likely going to get this face off again. Now, she doesn't have the Beskar spear. So what is she going to be using this time? I don't know. What do you guys think? What will Morgan Elsbeth be using this time? Will she have like another lightsaber or something? Or what's going on here? What's going on here? Let's keep reading. Since this fight has yet to be seen in Ahsoka, there's only one episode left. This epic rematch has to be a part of the finale. Diana went on to describe the upcoming Jedi vs. Night Sister battle as long and involved before teasing some incredible moments. So this is what she says. There were days added to that fight scene. So it's a long, involved fight scene. It's pretty intense. And then there's other moments too. I think all of us have these. There's so much action involved in this. True. And I don't want to say too much, but there is some incredible moments definitely between all of us. Interesting. So, little did she know that this interview would come back to bite her, because there's only one episode left of the Ahsoka show, and this fight scene she's referring to has yet to happen. So, she does mention about how there's like all of them kind of get their own fight scenes, and that's very true. We saw Baylan versus Ahsoka twice. We saw Sabine versus Shin 3 times. We see Ezra versus all these people once. We see Ahsoka versus Marok in the forest. We see a bunch of cool fight scenes. You got space scenes with space snips in the fighter scenes with Morgan Elsbeth and Marok in space. You got the space scene from this last episode. You got a ton of action in this Ahsoka show. It's been only 7 episodes, and we got so much more action than we got in like all of the sequel trilogy, but also all of the Mandalorian as well. So it's a very action-packed show, and she definitely is not wrong about that. But she's saying that this fight scene took days to film. Days, and it's an intense, involved, tight fight scene, meaning it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. What's interesting to me about this, let's see if she goes on to anything else. She talks about her martial arts background. Okay, well, so her godfather is the late Bruce Lee, by the way, which is kind of crazy. All right, moving on. Let's talk about that for a second. So, what's interesting about this is Morgan Elsbeth has kind of just been at Grand Admiral Thrawn's side this entire time. Like, she's kind of just been on the Chimera, not involved in the fight whatsoever this whole season. Now, she did fight Ahsoka in Mando Season 2. But since then, she's not really been involved in the action so much. So what's going to draw her either off the Chimera or Ahsoka onto the Chimera to the point where they fight? Where's Thrawn? Where's the army? Why is it Morgan versus Ahsoka? Why is that the fight that's going on? And what is Morgan going to be using? She doesn't have the Beskar spear. Does she have a lightsaber or something? Like, what is she actually going to be using? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Electro staff? Electro staff would be cool. Electro staff would be something similar to like what Grievous's people have, or even like you see a bunch of them in Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, stuff like that. Yeah. Marok is dead. That's true. Marok is dead, but wait, what are we talking about? Marok is dead, but he still had cool fight scenes earlier on in the season. All right, let me scroll up to where we left off with these chats so I can read everybody's chat. Brandon says, this episode was interesting. We got a Ventress mention. Yeah, that's true. I actually forgot about that. I put that in the breakdown video, but Asajj Ventress, for the first time in live action, was mentioned, which is cool. It's very cool. Asajj Ventress is a very important part to the story in the Clone Wars, and getting to see her actually mentioned by Anakin to Ahsoka was so cool. So cool. Even when Anakin says in that message, he's like, you must practice these trainings often. And then he looks down at the floor and he's like, at least more than I do. Like he is so good. So good. Hayden Christensen again, not enough praise for his performance as Anakin here. Aim Punch says MKB does have a few points. He says the writing is awful. They're not building these new characters. They're telling a story and we have no idea what's going on. If those are the points he has, they're bad ones. MKB says this is how they explain Ahsoka, not in the sequel trilogy. That's where they are heading. Well, yeah, they have to explain how Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, Mando, Grogu, Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, the Mandalorians themselves, because now there's way more than them than we thought. All them, plus Thrawn, plus Baylan, plus Shin, plus all these characters. Literally every single one of these characters in the Ahsoka show is not in the sequel trilogy, and that needs to be explained. That needs to be explained. Yes. Brandon says, could we see Ventress in live action anytime soon in a live action Clone Wars movie? I've heard these rumors about the live action Clone Wars movie. It's not happening. It's just not happening. We already have 7 seasons of Clone Wars. We already have the prequel trilogy. It's not going to happen. There's no way that they're going to retell a story in live action. That's just not happening. And You might say, well, Mike, they had the Clone Wars flashbacks. That's very different because that's Anakin teaching Ahsoka a lesson. You could get some Clone Wars flashbacks maybe like that involve Asajj Ventress, possibly, but I do not think that they're doing a live-action Clone Wars movie. I do not. Yeah. Honey Badger says, maybe Dave can manipulate the training sequence between Luke and Leia. I think episode 8 or 9 is when they trained, and maybe they could have them training to go up against Thrawn in Dave's movie. Possibly, but I think actually already that training sequence has happened. I think that training sequence is you're led to believe that happens on Endor very soon after the Battle of Endor, and Leia almost immediately stops the training and goes to become a senator, or at least join the Senate, which is where she is now. Greenbeard says, best way to write off Baylan would be to have him just disappear on his quest. They have it set up. They have it set up that he's being called. They just can't tell that story now. I think that would be probably the best bet, and most likely what they're going to do is just have him ride off into the sunset, walk off into the sunset, and not even talk about him. Now, it might be years and years and years, but I do think at some point that storyline will come up again, because I think whoever is calling to him will be the main threat in the post-sequel world. But I do think you can get away with, at least for a long time, not including Ray Stevenson or Baylan or any of that, because of course Ray Stevenson's passed away. So you can't involve him, meaning you don't have to involve him. They set him up in a pretty good way where they don't have to. Awesome Guy says, finale needs to be about 50 minutes. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be probably a longer episode for sure. I'm sure they've caught on by now that people like to see the longer finales. Yeah. Aim Punch says, just kidding, but it does seem like that to me too. Oh, poking fun of the sequel trilogies. I get you, yeah. I'm well. I hope you're doing great too. Thanks, Aim Punch. I am doing great too. Thank you for asking. Greenbeard says, Sabine and Ezra have actual chemistry. I don't know if I want them to hook up though. Yeah, I don't think I want them to hook up. There's no place for that in Star Wars, especially. They can have a romantic connection, they can have a romantic relationship, but if it gets that far, that's a little bit too much for me. That's too much for me. But I do love Natasha's performance as Sabine and Iman's performance as Ezra. They embody those characters so damn good in their conversations together in this last episode. Perfect. Literally straight out of Rebels, perfection. It's like I was watching Rebels season 5 right there. It's literally what it felt like. The guy, what's up, the guy? How we been? Says, where's the girl who loves Star Wars though? I don't know. You guys will have to do something extra. All right, here's the deal. Okay? And I'll have to run it by her. But if we can get to 15's the number. 15 members. Once we hit 15 members, and again, I'll have to run it by her, she will come on stream. She'll come on stream. And until then, you can see her standing next to me and the GOAT himself, Hayden Christensen. Boom! 15 members, that's the number. Awesome Guy says, Skeleton Crew will help Ahsoka escape Peridia. That's a good theory. That is a good theory, because the Skeleton Crew show is supposed to involve this new galaxy as well. I think the Skeleton Crew will actually explore upon the line that Baylan says in episode 4, I think he says it, where if their calculations are off by even a little, they could get trapped in the void. Now, they definitely mentioned the void for a reason. The Skeleton Crew might actually get stuck there, and maybe, or something along those lines. I think the void will be explored a little bit more. Yeah. Your pal Joe says, I believe that Shin joins Ahsoka after being defeated by the encounter with Baylan. She realizes that she is screwed without him. Also, pops in the green kyber crystal from her hair. Popping in the green kyber crystal from her hair would be very, very cool. I want to make a full video on that because Shin's character is very interesting. I do think she will go light side. I don't think she will go after Baylan though. Maybe she becomes Ezra's apprentice. Maybe she takes Ezra from Sabine. Love triangle. Yeah. I don't care about Grogu. I'll be real. A lot of people have that opinion. A lot of people do have that opinion. They're like, I've had enough of Grogu, or even they just don't care about Grogu because he's just a little kid. But at some point, Grogu's going to grow up. At some point, he's going to be a teenaged Yoda. And he's going to be Grogu, of course, but he's going to be like a teenage version of Yoda. And I'm sure those fans will come back around, you know? Narjo? What's up, Narjo 501 says, I really liked this episode, but I felt like it didn't have that oomph as a pan-ultimate episode. I love the season so far, though. Well, there you go. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. People are like, it's the second to last episode. It doesn't have that oomph. And again, I harpen back to the best season of anything that we've gotten before the Ahsoka show, and that pan-ultimate episode was not so good as well, which is Mando season 2's. But that's just me. I like that. I respect the opinion for sure. Yapala Joe says he basically abandoned her and put her in a position where she kind of is screwed. True. So Baylan abandoning Shin, the parallels to Ahsoka abandoning Anakin is wild. Now, it might be a complete reverse thing here. Anakin and Ahsoka are both light side people. Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, leaving Anakin, and then Anakin turns to the dark side. This might be the exact opposite. Baylan is the master, leaves Shin. Shin turns to the light side. So it's almost the exact opposite as Ahsoka and Anakin, and that's why Shin is going to come under Ahsoka's wing, because she can really, really relate to Ahsoka. Like, really relate to Ahsoka. And again, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Baylan and Shin are the exact opposite as Ahsoka and Anakin. They're just light side, they're just dark side. The master leaves the apprentice leaves the master turns to the dark side, the apprentice turns to the light side. It's all just the reverse almost, you know? Yeah, I know. General Grievous says, I do think the Ahsoka show has its problems, but overall, it's a good show. Oh, for sure, it has problems. 100% it has problems. I think the first 3 episodes were extremely slow, or not extremely slow, but slower than they should have been. They had to, of course, build up to that 4th episode. That 4th episode has so much meaning to it. Those 3 fight scenes needed the backing of those first 3. So it's obviously telling a story, but there is still some flaws to the show. I think visually, it's perfection. Like, they really put in the time for the CGI and even the fight scenes and stuff like that. I think more of it is stuff like, if the Chimera and the Night Sisters and these boxes were already on this planet, why did they have to wait for Morgan Elsbeth to show up to pack the boxes onto the ship? You know? It's kind of like those plot device stuff. And that's kind of the only problem I see. I mean, the story's fantastic. The acting is fantastic. They really embody the Rebels characters themselves. And again, the cinematography, the CGI, whatever you want to call it, is spectacular. It's just some of those plot device things that are a little bit problematic. Why would Shin fight Baylan? I don't think she will. Awesome guy says, Ahsoka did suffer from terrible dialogue, but so did the prequels. Star Wars has never been known for the dialogue, that's for sure. Even Rebels is known for its witty humor, like its little, like almost stupid jokes that are cringy almost. And Ahsoka's kind of got a bunch of those as well. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's got some of that dialogue from the prequel trilogy, for sure. Yeah. Narjo says, really digging your channel and your streams. Keep up the great work. Hey, thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. What if Shin... Oh, if I was Shin, I would be really pissed at Baylan. That's true, I would be too. Because he kind of just abandoned me, but I don't think she's going to go fight her. You know? Greenbeard says, time dilation from hyperspace. The Ahsoka gang comes back and decades have passed. Ooh, that would be crazy. What if they come back and it's already post-sequel? Wow, that would be wild. That would be so wild. I don't think that's possible, but that would be bonkers. That would be bonkers. Oh my god. If Thrawn comes back and it's already post-sequels, Grogu's older, Hera's really old, like, oh, that would be wild. That would be wild. That's a fun theory. I don't think it will happen, but that would be a fun theory, for sure. But the only reason that it wouldn't make sense is because Ezra and Thrawn are only like 10 years older, and they've been in the galaxy for 10 years. So, yeah, there you go. There goes the theory. There goes the theory. It was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted, but there goes the theory. Baylan is more than just an antagonist to me. Oh, for sure. I think Balin's way more than just an antagonist. I think he's a very cool anti-hero type person. I don't think he's a bad guy. Again, he'd fit perfect in the Wreck-It Ralph scene. You know? You know? Oh, Narjo501 with a very, very generous $2 hauler. Amazing. Says, may the force be with you. Narjo, if you have anything else to say in the chat that wouldn't have fit in that message, please put it in there. Very generous. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I just lost my place. Damn it, Narjo. Just kidding. I'll find it. Shit. Where were we? Damn it. Oh, there we go. I found it. Night Sister magic. Okay. Greenbeard says they could have burned off Balin's face and then recast him. That might be the solution. Yeah, you could see something like that where he has to go into a mask or something. No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. They could do something like that where they have to put him under a mask or something like that. That would be cool. Like whatever he goes to see, like literally like burns him or something. That would be cool. Yeah. There has to be a way around it because Balin's character is too cool to just kind of never see again. You know? Your pal Joe says, I don't think Shin seeks Imperial rank, but guidance and belonging. That's why I think she'll turn to the light side and follow Ahsoka instead. I think she will be the key. And what's huge about that is Shin has become a fan favorite character. Oh, so much was riding on that. If that's the case, if she becomes the key to all this, like being under Thrawn for a while and then turning back to the light side, I think that her being as good as a character as she is, that'll be huge. That'll be huge, for sure. Honey Badger says, I think Morgan would just use Night Sister magic against Ahsoka, and Ahsoka using the Force. That would be cool. If she uses magic and doesn't use like a saber or a spear or anything like that, and she just uses magic, now that would be cool. Now that might be why it took a lot longer to film, because magic, of course, isn't actually there, and they have to do all the movements right. I want to see magic in battle. I want to see it in battle. Badly. So that would be cool. That would be a great theory for sure. Morgan needs to die. There need to be more stakes in this show. More stakes than Thrawn coming back and taking over the galaxy. Morgan dying. I could see it. I could definitely see it. But I don't think it'll happen in this show. Aim Punch says, I agree. Shin lacks goals and personal purpose. That's true, but she was following her master. Usually apprentices don't have that much purpose. They're following what their master's purpose was. And now she's got to kind of go out on her own. Shin barely has any lines. Yes, but that's kind of what is cool about her character. Yeah. It's crazy that nobody has died yet. True. I mean, Morok, but he was just smoke. A bunch of bandits and stormtroopers, but nobody of significance. I agree. Well, Ahsoka. Only the titular character of the show, but yeah, agreed. Yeah. Or Ahsoka uses a staff, and she will end up getting, and that's what Morgan uses to fight against Ahsoka, and Ahsoka takes it from her. Oh, her white staff from Rebels, that would be kind of cool. That would be cool. Awesome Guy says, if Ahsoka gets her staff for the first time, the Rebels epilogue debate is over. The epilogue debate is over. I made a video like when it was retconned, And people were like, no, it's a different scene entirely. And then Ahsoka the White came out, and I just got crickets because those people don't ever admit that they're wrong. But, and who am I to tell them? But I think that debate is already over. But yes, if she got the staff, it would definitely be over. Aim Punch says, Anakin is a crutch. We can give this show a fair score because Anakin this or that, in my opinion. Okay, here's my thing with the whole Anakin's just a cameo fest type thing. Anakin's the master to this character. The show is called Ahsoka. She's literally the first 4 episodes dealing with the backlash of her master being the most evil guy in the galaxy and having to deal with that because that's her master, and having to not want to train anybody else because she was only trained by that evil guy. Then she dies not being able to save her own apprentice because of the feelings that she had for Anakin and what Anakin did, and then she has a whole last lesson with her old master. So Anakin being a crutch or just a cameo or just fan service, whatever you want to call it, is ridiculous. Anakin is the most important character to the most important character in the show. The show is called Ahsoka. Anakin is the most important character to Ahsoka. And it only makes sense for Anakin to be in this show. Honestly, if Anakin was in the sequels, you wouldn't be saying the same thing, and Anakin 1000% should have been in the sequels. You know? The only reason that we think that these people, these main characters like Luke being in Book of Boba Fett, Luke being in Mando, Anakin being in this show even, the only reason we think of that as fan service now is because the sequels lacked actual correct story. Like, Anakin should have been involved. He's the fucking chosen one. Luke shouldn't have been an old hermit. Lando should have been in at least more than one episode. The 3 of them, Luke, Leia, and Han, should have been together. Is that fan service? The 3 most important characters that are all friends with each other, that all have been through incredible experiences together, being in the same room. Is that fan service enough for you guys? Ridiculous. Awesome Guy says, we need a series about the netherworld of the Force with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Qui-Gon. You'll never see that. You will never see that because what would they just be doing? Hanging out, drinking some coffee in the underworld or the afterlife, whatever you want to call it. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. Star Wars is truly cursed. I wouldn't say it's cursed. Actors and actresses die all the time. It is definitely a bummer to see him gone. And it happens all the time, you know? But what I'm saying is Balin's character is a very cool character. But there is ways around going on without his character. If that makes sense. Although he's a very cool character, and I'd love to see more of him, sadly Ray Stevenson passed away, and we have to go on without him, you know? Awesome Guy says, what do you think of Ezra and Shin's romance like Luke and Mara's? I like it, but it would definitely throw a giant wrench in the friendship of Ezra and Sabine because of the romantic tension there as well. I would love to see this romantic triangle type thing that they would love to see them, or Dave at least, try and pull off. We'll see. Greenbeard says, there should be more than one love story in the Star Wars universe. Han and Leia was the central part of the original trilogy. I agree. I think having romance in Star Wars is a good thing, but when it, no sex scenes, please. And I know that should go without saying, but I feel like I have to say it. It should go without saying, but there's also a sex scene in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. Brandon says, do you think Dave Filoni will retcon Dark Disciple novel to bring back Ventress, or is that a bad idea? I think he won't do that, but I think, again, there's room for it in flashbacks. So Asajj Ventress does die in that novel, and she actually does come back to the light side after a while. So we'll see. Droid / oh no. No, Aimed Punch. Please no. Please no. ZZM, what's up, says, I think they made Grogu grow too slowly. Interesting. Well, there is going to be a time jump at least a year or two with the sequel trilogy. And I don't think it will even run up until the sequel trilogy. So you'll probably have like a 10 to 20 year time jump where you could get an older Grogu. Now I think Grogu could probably go through a growth spurt of some sort. But yeah, I think they're definitely saving Grogu because you won't think that Grogu's aging too slowly when he dies in 900 years. When Grogu's gone and we don't get any more Grogu, you're gonna wish he went slower. There's a sex scene in Marvel, yeah, in the Eternals. In the Eternals. Yeah. Miguel says, I've heard rumors of a big twist. Only twist I see is Ezra being evil. What do you think about this? What do you think this twist will be in Love in the Live Stream? Thanks, Miguel. Ezra being evil, I don't see. He's too Ezra. He's too Ezra from Rebels to become evil, in my personal opinion. It would be a crazy twist for sure. But yes, I've heard the rumors about this twist. What it could be, I don't know. Maybe it's who's calling out to Balin. It's someone similar or familiar that we know, and it might be a twist on who we expected it to be. Maybe the twist is Shin comes to the light side, which we're kind of expecting at this point. I don't know. There could be many different things that this twist could be. Maybe it's that they all get stranded here. Maybe Ezra, Sabine, Ahsoka, none of them get back. And that's what the skeleton crew kind of works on too. Yeah. The Eternals doesn't really count. Oh, it definitely does. Eternals isn't that bad. Just take out the sex scene and maybe make a second movie. Like, it's been years since that movie came out, and these characters have no meaning in the cinematic universe. But that's because nothing Marvel is connected anymore. That's whatever. Greenbeard says Ezra and Thrawn haven't come back though. Everyone so far has made one-way trips. No one has returned. That's true. So you're saying like the way back would like take longer or something, or you go through some time vortex or something? Interesting. Oh, Jesus Christ. Greenbeard says, Shin Hati is my fan favorite because she is a hottie. Well, there you go. Greenbeard, what is your profile picture? I gotta know. Is it just like a green potato or something with a green beard on it? Why? What is it? Cappy says, Balin has a Mustafar moment and becomes a Vader-like character. Ooh. Like he gets burned alive or something similar to that, and then has to wear a mask. That would be cool. That would definitely be cool for sure, Cappy. And really probably one of the only ways to get around that. Yeah. Narjo says, do you think they will recast Balin? No. I don't think they'll do that to him, especially after he just recently passed away. I don't think they'll recast him. I think if anything, they'll either deepfake him. Maybe he was sick for a while. I don't actually know if we know how he died. Maybe he was sick for a while and they knew this was coming and maybe they talked about this. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Maybe they'll deepfake him, or they will go with something along the lines of a mask or something like that. I don't know. I think the finale will really explain the future of Balin's character. Maybe he finds whoever's calling to him, and if it's Abeloth just kills him. Or like he frees her, and then she kills him. She's like, oh, thanks, you did it, and then kills him. It's still possible that Balin does not survive the finale, which honestly, as much as I love his character, I think would be for the best. Matthew Tatter, what's up, Matthew, says, Ezra should be using light side force magic. Light side force magic? How would he have learned magic? Honey Badger says, Morgan needs to die, and so does Balin. I think Balin definitely does. If they don't CGI Balin moving forward, they should find a way to use Shin in his place, because I feel like he was being set up for a huge role. I do think he was being set up for a huge role too. That's why I don't think he'll die next week, but I would prefer he dies next week. Yeah. Aim Punch says, Ahsoka should be more like Qui-Gon. Just get over it, girl. Just get over it, girl. Get over what? Oh, get over the whole Anakin thing? Well, I think that's what the lesson was, and now she is. That's why she's Ahsoka the White. Cappy says, what if Balin was taught by Thrawn, then punished him by disfiguring him? What if Balin is caught by Thrawn and punish him and disfigure him? Ooh, interesting. I don't think so. I think Thrawn's just gonna up and leave Balin behind. I don't think he has any worry in the world about Balin, so I don't think so. I don't think so. Aim Punch says, not everyone watches Star Wars. For them 3 characters, my brother, in the Force. Them 3 characters. What 3 characters? Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine? Oh, Luke, Leia, and Han? Luke, Leia, and Han. Oh, I get you. Okay, well, my thing about that is, with Luke, Leia, and Han, they're the original trilogy cast, right? If you were to make a Obi-Wan Kenobi show, right? With Obi-Wan and Vader or Anakin, and then not have them be in any of the same scenes, that makes no sense. All right, that's kind of a bad example. Let's say you're going to make a sequel trilogy movie. A sequel trilogy movie. Got it? With Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron, right? Perfectly reasonable, let's say. And don't click away because I'm talking about the sequels, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks, Rasheen Rose, for being a subscriber. You're the absolute best. Welcome to the family. So let's say you have a sequel trilogy movie with Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron, right? Wouldn't you expect the 3 of them to at least be in the same scene once? It's not about the characters being Luke, Leia, and Han. Of course, it kind of is because it's about Han and Leia's child and Luke Skywalker's failed apprentice, who is also Han and Leia's child. It's the lack in stupidity of Disney that makes the sequel trilogy the way that it is. There's no way that they would make a sequel trilogy movie without having Finn and Rey and Poe Dameron on the same screen together. Yeah. Awesome Guy says, Shin will most likely take Mara Jade's role, so Balin will either get recast or something else. Yeah, I could see something similar to that happening, you know. Awesome Guy says, Andor Season 2 will have intimate scenes. Andor did come close. Andor Season 1 was like, oh, we're going to show you what just happened, but it didn't, and that was good. So I don't think Andor Season 2 will have that. Do I look like a completely different person without glasses on? My voice has been pretty good. I thought it was gonna have to be a short stream today because I thought I was gonna lose it completely, but we seem pretty good for now. I think Ezra is in love with Sabine. I think it's unlikely Shin has anything to do with Ezra romantically. You never know. Shin has a way with the male, you know. Probably Andor got away with it. Andor Season 1 got away with it. They kind of got away with it. They showed a little bit, you know. They got to show just a little bit. Marvel Netflix shows don't count. They don't count, but Eternals does. It's not a Marvel Netflix. Honey Badger says, I highly doubt Shin takes Mara Jade's place and has a relationship with Luke. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I think more they're talking about like he takes the place of Mara Jade, and actually Ezra Bridger takes the place of Luke, which would piss so many people off. I think if they make an Heir to the Empire movie and Luke, Leia, and Han aren't involved, that's when it becomes a problem, because there's so many fans of the original Heir to the Empire trilogy that will literally just not go watch this movie because Luke, Leia, and Han aren't involved, because the original Heir to the Empire trilogy is those 3 characters. Like an actual sequel trilogy is supposed to be. The main characters of the galaxy are supposed to be in the main threat of the galaxy. This show made it clear that Ezra and Sabine are not in love. I actually disagree. I think the whole sister thing at the beginning was Ezra just like kind of... If he said, I've always loved you to Sabine in that message, then that would kind of suck, because he would be like, oh, I'm leaving you forever and I'm probably gonna die, but I've always loved you, and now Sabine's just gonna feel sad and guilty the rest of her life that she didn't notice or whatever. So I think that whole sister thing was kind of just a whatever, but I do think you might see some romantic stuff with Ezra and Sabine. Thanks for the hearts, guys. You guys are the best. Have they explained why the orange lightsaber is in canon? No, but I think it just has to do with the fact that Shin and Baylan aren't Sith. They aren't Sith. The same reason that Baylan didn't want to kill Ahsoka in the first place, she doesn't want to actually be a bad guy. I think that's kind of what it's more geared towards. A red lightsaber is bled red by a Sith Lord. I'm guessing the orange lightsaber was bled orange, but just not because they're fully not dark side, you know? Yeah, no. Greenbeard says, whatever time dilation happens on the trip to Peridia occurs when to all characters involved. They made one trip, so they didn't notice any difference. That's true, but they made trips at separate times, literally 11 years apart. For Baylan's goal, they should treat Ray Stevenson's situation like Chadwick Boseman in Wakanda Forever. So kill him off before the next series. But that would suck, dude. That would suck so bad. Baylan has become literally the most important character, or most intriguing character, at least in my personal opinion, and I'm sure many of your opinions as well. The most intriguing character in this entire show. And they're just going to kill him off screen or Cara Dune him. Just say he's on a mission somewhere. That would suck. That would suck. Sequels aren't canon. Oh, that's definitely an argument for another time. Honey Badger says, or you think that Shin would magically fall in love with Ezra. I don't think it would be magic. I think it's well, there's magic going on, so it could be magic, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, they are canon. Sorry, yeah, they are canon. The sequels are canon, and they're going to remain canon, whether you like them or not. They don't have to be your head canon. Here's the thing. Real talk. Disney made billions upon billions upon billions of dollars on the sequel trilogy. Not just from the box office, from merchandise. And they're still making billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, okay? So I realize that we just lost half of our viewers because I'm talking about the sequels now, but it has to be said. The sequel trilogies are going to remain canon for a long, long time. Or probably forever, but let's be honest. But what they can do is build upon them and build around them. And that's what I think is going on here. Yeah, no? Yo, where might go? Where did I go? Am I good? Are we good? We're good, right? Okay, we're good. Ovo says, I think Star Wars needs to stop relying on legacy characters to generate hype. I agree with that. And that's why I think a lot of people actually didn't like this episode, because they showed Anakin at the beginning. They thought they were going to get a lot of Anakin, and then like those people who only watch because of the legacy hype were let down. I completely agree with that. I can't wait. Literally can't wait to go to the High Republic, to the Old Republic, to the Dawn of the Jedi, to post-sequel trilogy, to get new characters, think about new characters. Shin, Baylan. Those are the two best characters in the Ahsoka show right now, personally, in my own personal opinion, at least intrigue-wise, because we don't know anything about them, because they're new characters. So as much as I love Ahsoka, because she's one of my favorite characters ever, and Ezra Bridger, who's one of my top 3 characters ever, I would love to see new characters. That's why I can't wait to go. Obviously, the Old Republic's a little bit different because those are technically legacy characters like Darth Revan and them. But I love new characters. So the legacy characters bring back normies when they see Anakin. Like episode 5 is going to have a huge viewership spike. It's probably going to be the most viewed episode of the series. And because all those normies who know Anakin, who know of the character, are going to come back and watch. And relying on that too much is not a good idea, but to use that to gain the viewers to learn about the new characters is also good. So it's kind of like a balance of both, but I cannot wait to get to these new places. Post-sequel trilogy, because you always have to kind of have some characters, because it's a timeline. Some characters live on, some characters die. So some characters are going to be the same. But, you know, yeah. Let's just say Baylan had a brother and will now replace him, lol. Yeah, no, definitely not. Greenbeard says, Greenbeard, Jesus Christ, says Ezra made Trip experiences time dilation then ages 10 years. Then others age 10 years and then experience time dilation. What's the difference? So you're saying that time just stops in this new galaxy? Because if Ezra goes there and ages 10 years because it's been 10 years, and then these people age 10 years in this galaxy and then travel there, so they're both aged 10 years. It's the same 10 years. When does the time dilation happen? You know? Swagger, what's up? Swagger says Ahsoka has been the first that didn't rely on it. Every cameo made sense in relation to Ahsoka's character arc. I agree with that, but there is also no denying that Anakin hyped up the show for sure. I think Anakin was very integral to Ahsoka's story, but there's no denying that the appearance of Anakin boosted views. Yeah. Yes, it adds up the same. Of course, the 11 years adds up the same, but there's no time dilation then. Cappy says, just find the tall person with the white hair and change their voice. I guess, but it'll be very different, and it will disrespect Rey's performance if it's not done correctly. Yeah. Honey Badger says, I just want to know how the series wraps up and if we'll get a season 2. I feel like there's going to be too much unanswered questions to resolve in this one episode if it's not even over an hour finale. Well, yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of unanswered questions, but it's either going to lead into an Ahsoka season 2 or it's going to lead into Dave Filoni's movie. And you're not going to get all the answers to the questions until the movie. And even then, you might not get some of the answers to the questions because, again, a lot of stuff, like especially with Dave Filoni, it likes to be left up to your own interpretation. Look at the World Between Worlds sequence with Anakin and Ahsoka in episode 5. It's all pretty much left up to your own imagination. Yeah. Finn says, I meant when you took off your glasses, Maiko. What did you say? Yo, where did Mike go? Oh, I get you. When I took off my glasses, I turned into Superman. I'm Clark Kent right now, and then I'm Superman. Is that what happens? I'm going to wear them like this from now on. Ovo says, I agree. I'm not saying it's fan service. They literally promoted the F out of Anakin. Well, that's true because they knew it would get them views. Cole Reader, what's up? Cole says, if Balin survives the end of the I feel like I should talk like this. If Balin survives the end of the season and they still have plans for him, then I think Gerard Butler, Jesus, might be a good choice to finish Balin's arc. Let's look up who Gerard Butler is. Let's look up Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler. Ooh, Gerard. Interesting looking fellow. He looks like he could play Balin's skull. Gerard Butler, guys, what do we think? Should we just Mike is an old librarian lady now. Oh, no. Okay, fixed it. What do you think? Would he make a good Balin skull? He actually does look very, very similar to Ray Stevenson. That's actually creepy. You put a white beard on that guy? Holy crap, he does look very similar. Good call. Good call by Cole. Aim Punch says, new places, new characters is the way. It's definitely the way, but, I mean, there's always room for old characters as well. Jessica, how we doing? Jessica says, I hope Shin goes with Ahsoka and company. I definitely think she will. I think her turn to the light side is inevitable. Aim Punch says, time just flows differently when you travel back to the original galaxy is what they meant, I think. Yeah, I think that's kind of what he's talking about, too. The time dilation is only relative to the home universe. That's the crux of Einstein's theory. Well, that's true, but they both aged the same, even in different universes. Yeah. Brandon says, what if the Chimera leaves Peridia with the Eye of Sion in hyperspace with Sabine, Ahsoka, and Ezra on the surface in Ahsoka's finale? You mean Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine get stranded there? What if that happens? Well, I think that will lead us right into Skeleton Crew. I think Skeleton Crew is going to need all the hype it can get. There's no familiar faces involved. I think Ahsoka might make a cameo in that. Maybe it's because they are saving her, but at the end of the show. But Skeleton Crew is going to be a whole brand new cast. Jude Law as a new Jedi character, a bunch of kids, like Stranger Things type thing, or Goonies meets Stranger Things meets Star Wars. So it's going to be a brand new cast of a brand new character. So the same way that like the Andor show, nobody watched it, although it was good, nobody watched it. That's because it's a brand new cast. It's characters that people don't care about. People don't have emotional connections to those characters, so they don't care. That's why nobody watched it. And they don't want to have that same situation happen with the Skeleton Crew. They don't want that to happen. So they want to really hype it up by, of course, bringing in characters like Ahsoka, but to, of course, bring in hype. But if the Ahsoka show leads into Skeleton Crew by leaving Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra on the planet of Peridia, stranded there, and it's like, see Ahsoka next, like after the credits it says Ahsoka will return in Skeleton Crew, then the hype begins to grow for the Skeleton Crew. Because honestly, I'm sure I'm saying Skeleton Crew, Skeleton Crew, Skeleton Crew, and half you guys are like, what the fuck's he even talking about? Because again, nobody really knows about the show. So, and it's supposed to be the next show. Yeah. Yes, and he has a similar voice. Gerard does. That's cool. That's cool. Honey Badger says, yes, Gerard Butler is an outstanding actor. He played The Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. He is an absolute great actor. I have seen Olympus Has Fallen. I recognized him for sure. I just didn't recognize him by the name. Gerard Butler looks perfect for Baylan replacement. He is epic in the 300. Agreed with that one. Finn says, Jude Law will probably bring his in some viewers as he is a good name. That's true. Jude Law is a big actor. But even still, that's not enough to like get a show to have a bunch of good numbers. Now, it could be similar to The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Season 1 is a brand new cast of characters, but the reason that it became so big was Grogu. The whole Baby Yoda in the first episode broke the internet, and it just built upon from there. I don't think Skeleton Crew is going to have that Baby Yoda type energy after episode 1. So it's going to have to build upon something else. Gerard Butler is 6'2", Ray Stevenson was 6'3". It would be a damn near perfect recast or replacement. Again, they have to do it respectfully to Ray Stevenson. So just replacing him, they have to do it with the utmost respect. Just give him some big shoes and it'll all be good. Yeah, there you go. Just 1-inch heels. Yeah, there you go. Genius. We've been going for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me? I feel like we just started the stream. Are you serious? Is that time right? Is that time right there? Holy shit. That's crazy. All right. Somehow my voice held up this entire time. Let's end this poll. Let's see where this ended at. Let's see if the math is mathing. 41% of you loved it. 41% of you liked it. 12% of you and 4% hated it with almost 50 votes in. That is a great number to see. Majority of you guys, 82% of you guys, loving it or liking it is fantastic. Amazing, especially going into the next episode with a bunch to speculate about. We'll of course be live on Saturday night where we'll talk way more about speculation for the next coming episode, what we think is going to happen there. Are they going to be stranded there? What's calling to Baylan? Who's calling to Baylan? What's in the box? We'll talk about a lot of that stuff if that will get revealed next week, and we'll talk about how we think this is going down in the finale for next week's episode. Until then, watch out for this video coming out tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all about what's in those boxes, whether it's the U Salamari, whether it's the Salamari, whether it's the E Salamari, however the freak you want to pronounce it, or whether it's something else, whether it's Dead Night Sisters or something even crazier. Watch out for that video tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get that video going. Let's all be there for the premiere. #premiere people. Shout out to all you guys who come to those premieres. It does help the algorithm a shit ton. So if you can make it at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come by that premiere. It would work wonders. So let's see what you guys have to say. Brandon says, unless Skeleton Crew has loath cats, it will bring a lot of viewers. Unless it has loath cats? Oh, if it does have loath cats, it will bring a lot of viewers. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Billy the commentator, what's up, Billy, says, good night, young man. Well, good night to you, too. Finn says, when will we find out what's in the box? happy Brad Pitt noises. I think it might be next episode, for sure. Undead Naughty Army? The turtles? Yeah, I hope not. Honey Badger says, I sense Dave will pull a Empire Strikes Back by having Thrawn undermine Ahsoka and friends' heroics. Thrawn makes it to the main galaxy, but are stranded dealing with the threat. Wait, what? Oh, Ahsoka gets stranded dealing with the threat. I do think you're going to see the good guys lose next week. I think the good guys are going to take a L hard, and it's going to be a lot like Empire Strikes Back where the good guys lose, for sure. Yeah. Honey Badger says, great stream as always. May the force be with you. Hashtag premiere people. See you there tomorrow. Thanks, Badger. Much love. Fortnite later? Ooh, interesting. Maybe. All right, I'm getting on out of here. You guys are the absolute best, greatest community in all of Star Wars, the people who love Star Wars. Think about becoming a member if you have the loot. It's only $5. It's the greatest $5 you'll ever spend in your life because you'll get access to an awesome new Discord that's opening up in just a few weeks here. You'll get access to the giveaway we're doing next week, next Tuesday during the live watch party, during the prediction stream before the live watch party, which we'll be giving away this, let me pull it up for you guys. This Lego Captain Rex helmet. Right here. This Lego Captain Rex helmet will be given away on Tuesday's stream next week to a lucky member because of their amazing support to the channel. We have 7 amazing members right now. We're continuing to grow. If we get to 15 members now, I will ask about this the girl who loves Star Wars coming on the stream. So let's get those memberships up. Get awesome, cool access to giveaways, Discords. We're going to do some call-ins soon once the Ahsoka show ends. So all that stuff will be free access once you become a member. And it, of course, supports the channel. You guys are the absolute best, greatest community in the world. And I'll see you guys next time. Amazing members? Oh, why, thank you, Michael. Yes, of course. You guys are amazing. Of course. Amazing. All right. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Aim Punch says, take care, everybody. I'm gonna go watch The Rise of Skywalker. There you go. And may the force be with you. Always. Where is that stupid button? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. There it is. Got it. Don't worry, guys. I got it. Don't worry, guys. I got it. A Cal cameo? Ooh, Cal Kestis. All right, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. Couldn't think of a better way to spend my Thursday evenings. You guys are so amazing. Fantastic. Watch out for that video tomorrow. Everybody drop a comment, a like, and all that fun stuff on that video tomorrow to really boost it out. Get it out there so we get more people in this community because it's fun. We have a lot of fun. Huge shout out to Narjo501 for the very generous $2 hauler. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.